All right, we are back with another pick'em video. This is coming out a little bit later, so we're going to go, a little bit expedited here. Going to give you guys a few plays for the NBA games tonight, and also going to point out a few plays for some hockey and a baseball play as well. So just going to throw out you guys some of the best plays that I'm seeing that's on the board right now, and hopefully you get something out of that. Again, this one's not coming out till around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, so you should have plenty of time, but not as much as if I posted it earlier. But if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe, leave the video a like, and comment anything down below, and let's jump right into the board. So the first game we're going to be talking about is, of course, the Knicks and the Sixers game. The Pacers-Bucks game, we don't know who's playing, and I kind of waited on that, but we still don't know who's playing. We don't know if Embiid, or not Embiid, we don't know if Giannis is playing. Dame, they're now from doubtful to questionable. We don't know what's going on. So I'm staying away from that game until I do know what's happening, but I will point out some good hit rates that I am seeing on the board a little bit later. But the first guy we're going to go to is going to be in the first half, and it's going to be Josh Hart, under 7.5 first half points. I know he's able to score the ball. I know he's shown that a few times in this series, but he does a lot of that in the second half, and he's a guy like I've kind of compared him to Draymond, especially when Julius Randle went out. I've never trusted his scoring. Yes, he can go off for 20, 25 points on any given night, really. He doesn't shoot a ton of shots, and sometimes he doesn't shoot much at all. So we're going to see that in his charts. He can definitely rack up 20 boards. He can dime the ball a little bit as well. He does a little bit of everything, but I don't always trust his scoring. So I definitely like to see this under looking really good. I'm not going to be able to show you guys the odds, but the hit rate and the matchup looks good for this one. So going into his page right here, so this is Outlier. You can get a free week trial using my link in the description down below. Any of the tools I'm using, you're either going to get a free week or a free trial of some sort, or a discount on your first month for DG Fantasy specifically. But yeah, check out Outlier. They're awesome. And we can see these are games that Julius Randle's been out. So obviously since Randle went down, Hart's minutes have increased, and now he's Tibbs' go-to guy for playing as many minutes as possible. And he played 53 minutes in the last game, overtime game, didn't go off the floor once, played every single minute. And this is just the first half. So this is a 73% hit rate going under this 7.5 first half, or 7.5 first half points. It's a great hit rate, obviously. These are all games without Randle, second half of the season, when he's playing all these minutes. Now, he's played 24 minutes in last game. He played 24 minutes in game one. Those are the games we really want to focus on. But when he does get 24 minutes, we've seen it a few times, he tends to get, around 19 minutes or so. The guy's got to have a breather at some point. And he's never had like crazy minutes in the first half after having a full game of playing in the first half. So if that trend continues, here's 24 minutes, had 18.9 in the second game. Here's 24 minutes, he had 19.4 in the second game. This was in this series, by the way. And then he had 24 minutes in that in the most recent game. So we can see the head-to-head, which is the last 5 games for the whole series. He stayed under this in 4 or 5 games. Nice 80% hit rate. Yes, he might go out and get 7, especially if he plays 24 minutes, but I'm assuming he plays around 19 to 20 minutes, and we've seen him score 1 point, 5 points, whatever it might be. He stayed under this pretty consistently. They're going to be locked in on Brunson, yes, for sure. Dante DiVincenzo hasn't been seeing a ton of minutes, but these other guys have to step up. And Josh Hart's more of a second half scorer when he needs to do it. So hopefully he defers to a lot of these guys. Maybe the Knicks are hitting their shots early, but the defense is going to be locked in. This is probably going to be a low-scoring game. And yeah, Josh Hart under 7.5 points, looking really good for our first play. And then in terms of the other side of things for the Sixers, I'm staying, first half, first quarter in these plays. And you can take your pick. Maxey over 5.5 first quarter points. Joel Embiid over 8.0 first quarter points. I'm leaning Maxey here. I was looking into Embiid at 7.5. It eventually did get bumped. But you can find this on sportsbooks. You can find this on Sleeper or Chalkboard, any of the other DFS apps that aren't fixed payout systems. They're still going to be at 7.5. But Embiid hasn't looked amazing. I think he's going to come out, probably have a really good game today. Obviously, Maxey was the star of the show, saved their season last game, dropping 46. So that momentum could lead into this game, or the Knicks might say, hey, we need to stop Maxey. Embiid is hurting. But I'm going to show you both charts. You can ultimately decide your favorite pick here. I'll probably lean Maxey just because, at least on PrizePicks, just because Embiid did get bumped. But they are definitely capable of hitting in the same game for sure. They're both going to get 10 to 12 minutes, maybe 8 to 12 minutes for Maxey in that first quarter. And these are the series stats. He's averaging 7.4. He He had 7 in Game 1, 9, 7 in Game 3. Only missed once in Game 4 where he was held to 3. This was also the lowest scoring game in the series, I believe, where everyone couldn't get it going. We could see that again. So again, these are hard to predict. The defense could be locked in. It's hard to find an over, but Maxey did score 11 in the first quarter last game, and he's coming off a 46-point night. So defense could be locked in on him, but you can't leave Embiid to just destroy you. But if you think that's the game plan for him, maybe go to Embiid instead. But I like, both of these guys. I wouldn't run them out in the same slip for sure, but I think you could attack either one, especially if you find Embiid at 7.5. So great hit rate for Maxey. Hopefully he, rides that momentum. Only needs 6 points, and he can do that. He's proven pretty consistently when he gets, around 10 minutes in that first quarter. Now for Embiid, he's missed in 2 of these games. Oops, wrong tab there. He's missed in 2 of these games, but he gets a little bit more minutes in the first quarter, typically running at least like all 12 minutes or at least 8 to 10 to 12 minutes, whatever it might be. They're usually around the same amount of time. But obviously, downward trend has been consistent for him. He's really hurting. He's got Bell's palsy. He's, half his face isn't working. He's got his knee issue. He's struggling for sure. He's kind of a warrior for being out there. I don't love Embiid as a player. I think he's, one of the most dominant players out there, but he hurts himself, I think, falling on the ground so much, trying to draw fouls and things like that. He also hurts other people. We've seen him do that too. But regardless of what I think Embiid could have a great game today. He's consistently shown that, not in the playoffs, but he can dominate a game, and he has done that a few times in this series. Obviously, a 50-piece in I forget which one of these games it was, but they're home. They have the home crowd. They're trying to not let Knicks fans in there, so they should have that crowd behind them. Both these guys could go over, but again, at 8.0, I favor Maxey's line. But if you can find Embiid at 7.5, I don't mind that either. So those are my 2 Sixers plays. Hard to find a good one for the full game because a lot of these might be fading the under. Dante DiVincenzo, he used to be a 40-minute guy. Now he's seeing 22, 25 minutes in these games. So his lines might be inflated a little bit too much, but they've come down a lot. So it's hard to find a line that I like in this series. We're going into Game 6. We got a lot of history between them, but things are always changing. So first quarter is where I'm staying for the 2 superstars on the Sixers. And pick and choose your favorite from these 2 guys. And then I should also point out, totally forgot to look at some odds here. We can see first quarter odds for Maxey, the favorite for over for sure, -142 on FanDuel, -122 on DraftKings, -135 on Caesars. So those sportsbooks are favoring the over for Maxey. And then in terms of Embiid, it's probably going to be favored, I guess, on the under just because we're at 8.0, if I had to say. Yeah, first quarter points under, they're saying 8.0, but it's around a 50-50 line. It's just because everyone else is at 7.5, and I'm sure they're probably slightly favored on the over at 7.5, but it got bumped on PrizePicks. So another reason I'm kind of leaning toward Maxey in this situation. And then for some kind of rapid fire fun here, I'm going to go through some plays that have a great hit rate in their series, but also favored with the odds. We can go to TJ McConnell under 0.5 steals. This is available on PrizePicks. Hasn't had a steal all series long. It's tough to get a steal regardless of how many minutes you play, but he's only seeing 16 to 18 minutes. Milwaukee doesn't seem to allow a whole bunch of steals, especially if Giannis and Dame come back. I would think even less steals are available. And this one is slightly favored on the under here, 50.63% chance to hit. This is DG Fantasy, just shows market value. And it's showing that DraftKings, BetMGM, all these different sports books are saying -115, -120, so very slightly favored on the under here. Next up would be Brook Lopez for the Bucks here. I think this is very contingent on the fact, is Giannis going to play? Specifically, is both of them going to play, Dame and Giannis? We just don't know. But over Brook Lopez, 0.5 dunks, kind of more of a lean here. But he's dunked in all 5 games so far this series, specifically 2 last game. I think the first play of the game he dunked. So he's kind of showing that he's, one of the better players in this series. Obviously a big game from them last time, won by 23 points or whatever. And Lopez was a big part of that. He didn't score a ton of points, but he was consistent and played pretty well. And he showed that he's the biggest body out there. So he's dunked in every game. Not many odds I can show you, but kind of a lean, done it in all 5 games. If Giannis doesn't play, this looks like a good look. And then moving in some baseball, this is totally different than how I usually do my videos, running through things pretty quickly. But again, it's late in the day. Wanted to get you guys some plays that you can mess around with if you like. And just so happens that there's a good play in the later game of MLB. This game's not till 8:10, so you'd have plenty of time to look at this one. But Alex Bregman under 0.5 hitter strikeouts. I don't think he's going to strike out today. We can see his outlier page right here. Definitely favored on the under. 56% hit rate for the entire year. He has been striking out a little bit more recently. But I like his matchup against Logan Allen, who's been getting the wins, but doesn't strike out a whole lot of batters so far this year. 31.1 innings pitched, strikeouts per 9 at 7.47, which is pretty low. Then against Bregman and Allen, their matchup here, he's faced each other 3 times, I believe, 3 plate appearances. He got walked once, he got a hit once, and he hasn't struck out once against him yet. In terms of Bregman's stats, 2 left-handed pitching as well, which Logan Allen is. 41 plate appearances this year. He's batting not very well, but he hasn't struck out much either. 7.3% K rate against left-handed pitchers, so I do like that for Bregman. And last but not least here, the odds are looking good as well here. Minus 133.6 is the average sports book. A lot of these sports books are around minus 133, minus 147 on sleepers. So looking really good here for Bregman not to strike out tonight. And then how about some playoff hockey here? Just an interesting line that I've never looked at before, but it's got crazy odds. Shouldn't be on PrizePicks based on the odds I'm seeing. But it's going to be the goalie combo here. Over 0.5 goals allowed in the first 10 minutes. I did go back and look. Last game, there was a goal in the first 10 minutes. The Maple Leafs got one in with at the 16-minute mark or something. So with 16 minutes left in the first period. So they did score last game at least. I know Austin Matthews isn't playing, which is a big blow to their offense. But if you don't like this one, you could also go to Swayman over his saves. 31 saves last game, even without Austin Matthews playing in that game. And just real quick, if you want to go to Swayman too, really good hit rate against this team, specifically one-on-one. Again, Austin Matthews not playing. Does that affect it too much? I mean, he didn't play this game, and he had 31 saves. And then in terms of the play that I'm showing right here, first goals allowed in the first 10 minutes, or goals allowed in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, we can see it's minus 143.7 average odds. DraftKings at minus 125, BetMGM or ESPN bet minus 130. But then you're seeing BetRivers got this at minus 143, minus 170 on Caesars, and a lot of other books around minus 140, minus 160. So really good odds. Shouldn't be on PrizePicks. So I'm going to take advantage of it and shoot my shot with it. It can go either way for sure. But yeah, wanted to point it out to you guys that it has very, very good odds. So yeah, that was kind of some rapid fire plays here. Again, later in the day. Apologize for it coming out. Not too many people will probably see this, but did want to show you guys the people that do come around for these videos. I appreciate you. Wanted to give you guys a bunch of plays that you can at least look at. Not my full deep dive on a lot of these, but kind of some more leans that I've played in other slips. And I'm not 100% confident in all of them, but you never are. This is sports, anything can happen. But real quick recap of what we talked about. Josh Hart and Maxey were really the plays that I was giving you guys. We kind of did go in depth on them. Can't look at Josh Hart's odds, but hit rate's incredible, especially away. Tyrese Maxey, I'm choosing him. Scored 46 last game. Embiid doesn't look fully right. And I also probably want to go to Embiid at 7.5, but it did get bumped to 8.0. First quarter points for Embiid on PrizePicks. If you can find Embiid at 7.5, I think you could play both of these, at least hedge, Maxey with Embiid somewhere else, because at least one of them is going to hit and could be both of them. Then we went into some great hit rates that also match the odds. TJ McConnell, 0.5 steals on the under. This kind of reminds me of Peyton Pritchard, similar minutes, and he hadn't been getting steals, but I think he did get one after that 6th game or whatever that he hadn't hit in a row. But McConnell doesn't have a steal in this entire series, and the odds are on the under slightly. So if you want to take a shot at that. Brook Lopez, this is kind of Giannis dependent. Is Giannis going to play? Is Giannis going to not play? Without Giannis, great hit rate for the dunks. Especially this series. He's dunked once at least every single game, and he dunked twice last game when he was kind of more involved in the offense without Dame there as well. So keep an eye out for those guys if Giannis and Dame are ruled out. I think this is a really good play for us. Then we went into some MLB. Alex Bregman, this is later in the day. 8-10 game versus Cleveland. He hasn't He has been striking out a little bit more recently, but 56% of games he's gone under. And I like his matchup against the pitcher, Logan Allen. He hasn't been striking him out, in three appearances, and against lefties he has a 7% K rate. So I like Bregman tonight as well. And then here's that kind of interesting combo, which I haven't gone to once all season, but I did find the odds for it. crazy odds, minus 143. You don't see that on PrizePicks very often. So I'm taking a swing at it. And if you don't like the combo here, you could definitely go to Swayman over his saves. He's hit it in a ton of games against the Maple Leafs. In the past like 9 matchups dating back to last year, he's gone over this. Obviously, no Austin Matthews might take a hit for the offense for the Leafs, but they have gone over this in the game without him, having 31 saves for Swayman, so they were getting some shots off. So that's something you can look at as well, but the odds here were just too good to really pass up. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. Again, totally different than what I usually do, but maybe you kind of like the more plays quicker on the breakdowns of them. And we also did multiple different sports, so not a ton of people are going to see this because it's coming out so late, but for those who do, I appreciate you. And if you're at this point in the video, we're always talking sports, talking props in our Discord community. So I would encourage you to check us out. Obviously, people are going to update you on plays that we're playing throughout the day. People give their own insight, and I'm always trying to make this a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging, and I'm always open to discussions and recommendations from you guys for how to make that a little bit better. And today I actually added a new channel, Play of the Day. Obviously there's a share your slips. You can always share anything that you're playing personally. But for DFS specifically, you always have to play at least 2 pairs. You got to parlay it with something. You can't just do one play. You can't do a straight bet. And sometimes you really, really like a play, and you have to kind of force that combo with a play that you might not like as much. So I added Play of the Day. People are already posting in here, and we actually hit. We're 1 for 1. Kyle Harrison already played, and he got 6 strikeouts. So he's over. People give their breakdowns if they want, or if you want to come in here and just show the thing that you, the play itself, you can do that as too. But again, people are having fun with it. We're always talking props, talking plays, and talking sports. So if you're interested in that, we have a lot of fun in here. It's a great community. It's not just about winning and getting access to all my plays, which we do, and we've had a pretty good success rate at winning some money along the way. But this is entertainment at the end of the day. If you want to get in here, it's $20 a month, but there are plenty of ways to get in here for free. I have a description of this video. You can check out all these links to PrizePicks, Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper, Dabble. Those are my favorite DFS platforms. They're also partners of the channel. When you sign up using my code, I get a little bit kicked back my way. So I give you guys it right back via a free month of the Discord. So you can get up to 6 months free because DG Fantasy also gives you 25% off your first month. And if you use my code, I get a little bit kicked back my way. That's this tool. Shows you market value. Highly, highly recommend it. You could go on here if you didn't want to do research and say, hey, I want to get the best play that's on PrizePicks right now. And it'll say, okay, you can go to Emo for League of Legends. He's at 7.5 on PrizePicks, but he's at 8.5 on Hot Streak, and he's minus 185 or minus 186. Kind of a bad example because I typically like a few more data points to look at, but you get what I mean. You can go on here, see any sport, any prop, and kind of see, based on market value, these are the best plays. So come check out the Discord. Again, there's reasons to be on Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper. All of them are throwing different days, have different promos. Wildcard Wednesday on Sleeper, we're getting discounts on Sleeper. Taco Tuesdays on PrizePicks. Underdog has been giving us free squares a lot because they just launched in a few different states. Florida specifically has gotten Underdog and PrizePicks now. So you don't have to play them every single day, but if Underdog gives us a free square, we might as well take advantage of it that day. And it's, again, a good way to get in here for free. So that's me rambling. This is probably going to be a 20-minute video at this point. But hope you enjoyed. Hope you got a little bit out of this. And like, subscribe, leave a comment. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.